Today I bring to you the best recipe from my kitchen, meat pie recipe. So, for us to start, we're gonna use flour for the pastry. We use salt and we're going to use cold butter. For the measurement, I used 500 gram of flour, 8 gram of salt, and 250 gram of cold butter. Margarine, yeah, I think it's margarine I use. Yeah, margarine. So after squeezing it properly so that it doesn't reduce the measurement, I'll start by mixing it with my hands. My hands has been properly washed and I'll mix it. For this recipe, you don't have to over mix. It's a gradual process. You mix it properly, and I added a cup of cold water, very cold water. All the recipes we're going to be using for this meat pie will be cold. I mean, for the pastry will be cold, not the mixture of the meat pie. The flour, everything we're going to be using will be cold. I mixed it properly, but not over mixing it. Then after mixing and molding it, I got a clean Ziploc bag. Into the Ziploc bag, I'll be adding it. And I'll be freezing it for in my refrigerator, not in the fridge. I'll be keeping it in the fridge for about 45 to 1 hour, depending on the time the sauce for the meat pie cools down. So for the meat pie juicy sauce, we'll be using olive oil. I don't have the measurement for the olive oil. We're using sausage. This sausage is so sweet and you have to use sausage. I don't like using minced meat. I prefer using sausage, mashed sausage. And I will also be using some secret spices. I'll be using curry, thyme. The sausage is already salty, so you don't need much seasoning for it. Added onions. After chopping the onions, I added onions. For the seasoning, I added thyme, seasoning powder, and curry. Mix it, and I'll be cooking this sauce on low heat so that it properly cooks in and out. While it's cooking on low heat, I will stir it properly. Then I'll add blended pepper mix. This is fresh pepper that has been blended. I love using this blended one because the one that has been pounded or grinded, it shows and my kids won't eat it, so I prefer to use the blended one. I'll be using Irish potato, some sweet carrot, and yes, everything will be cooking on low heat so it doesn't burn. Add a little water and start the cooking process. I'll stir it properly before covering the pot to cook. Then I make sure that everything has a taste, as in the sauce is very tasty. My secret spice again I use is Suya spice. I love using Suya spice for this sauce because it gives me a different taste, a unique taste, as in the street meat pie taste. That's what I want. So I used Suya spice and it gives me a perfect flavor. After properly cooking it, I added corn flour. Corn flour is for binding and for thickening. It helps to bind everything together so that it doesn't fall off apart. So this is how I make my sauce for my meat pie and my pastry. So after stirring it properly, I kept it to cool down. Then while it's cooling down, I rolled up my pastry that has already been kept in the fridge. I didn't really capture the place I added the corn flour, but look how juicy this sauce is. You can use this sauce for literally everything because it's so good. So tasty, so delicious, so rich in taste. Mommies, let's try this. Because after making it, I felt like I couldn't have control over eating this. So I added some spring onions. I always have spring onions in my fridge. So I added some spring onions, stirred it properly, and kept the sauce to cool down. Time for me to roll up my dough. So for the dough, I cut it into smaller sizes. Gently cut it before rolling them off. I'm supposed to scale it to get the appropriate measurement of the meat pie, but I already know. So I rolled it, sprinkled some flour on the surface before rolling it gently. And everything was so cold. It was smooth to roll, it didn't even stress me. Then I have this meat pie cutter I always use to make meat pie at home. So I used the meat pie cutter, I added the dough to the meat pie cutter, added my cold pastry on it. Besides this, I made these snacks for my kids to go to school the next day. But after cooling off and making the meat pie, rolling it and everything, I kept it in a Ziploc bag till the next day. I didn't bake it immediately. I kept it in the freezer to freeze till the next morning. The next morning, while I was making their school lunch box, I brought it out, gradually brushed it. You don't have to let it thaw or let it rest. Immediately you bring it out from your fridge. Brush it with egg wash. After brushing it with egg wash, you give it that beautiful design you want and bake immediately. See how beautiful this meat pie is. Trust me, if you try using this meat pie cutter, there are different types in the market. But using this alone, you will love the design. So I kept it on a parchment paper on my tray. When I finished, I added it to a Ziploc bag and kept in the freezer. One thing with this, I love making meat pie in batches, is that you don't have to bake everything immediately. You can leave this meat pie like this in the freezer for over 1 month. Ensure you put a date on it before keeping in the freezer so that you'll be so specific about when you made it. And when you bake it, it will still be very fresh. I did this for over 3 times. I didn't bake immediately. I brought out batch by batch because I have 4 kids. I brought out batch by batch and baked it. And it saved me a whole lot of time and money and resources for their school lunch. This is a perfect snacks you can make for your kids to go to school with. You don't have to do it that very day. Make it, keep in the freezer, take it bit by bit and bake the next day in your air fryer or in your oven. Mommies, let's learn to save time and eat good food and snacks and healthy. I love making pastries at home because I'm sure of what has been added to it. I don't always like my kids eating pastries outside. I prefer making it because I'm very sure of what I'm using to make it, what I'm eating, the protein I'm using, the fish, is it chicken, is it beef, whatever. I'm very sure of what I'm adding to my pastry and what I'm giving to my kids. Yes. So, mommies, will you be trying these steps? Yeah, I know I added a lot of sauce to this one. That was why it was kind of opening. And here we have it, beautiful meat pie ready to be added to the freezer to rest overnight and properly freeze before baking the next day. This is a good way. And this is it. The next morning I brought it out. It's frozen. When I mean frozen, it's frozen. So I took some, not all. See, I'm even hitting it. So what I did, I just brought out the ones I needed and the rest I added it to a Ziploc bag and kept it for next time. The ones I was using for that specific day, I brushed them with egg wash and later did a sweet design on it just a simple design. Then I baked it for about 30 to 35 minutes and it was ready. The whole place, the aroma in the whole house was wow. Everybody knew that mommy was baking meat pie. You know that feeling that you've always craved for meat pie and mommy finally gave it to you, boom, as a surprise for lunch, for snacks in school. It was so satisfying seeing my kids happy. I baked it till they are golden brown and properly cooked inside and out. So, mommies, if you like this recipe, please save it, like, share, comment, and leave a heart for me in the comment section. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching and thanks for always engaging. Please subscribe and follow me for more. See, now I will show you how juicy it is on the inside. See how juicy it is. Don't tell me you're not going to follow me for more recipes. Bye. Thank you.